Hello there, welcome back to the James Rambling Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode I'm actually going to be doing a different kind of video here, where I'm going to be discussing Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and its 20th year anniversary, as I actually watched it in 4DX, and I've never done this review where I talk about the 4DX experience, because usually when I go to the cinema, right, I'm either doing it in 2D or a super screen, but there's another option called 4DX, and so I'll explain to you what 4DX is, and then I'll get into how I felt about the movie as a whole, the actual 4DX experience, what it was like, stuff like that. So if you don't know what 4DX is, it's pretty much this film format where you're in a seat, right, and it's set up a certain way where you see like smoke, you feel water spraying at you, there's like the chair moves so fast and so much is kind of going on. And especially when we get into this review, right, we'll talk about how it felt during the battles and everything, how you feel like you're getting punched in your back and then your head just keeps moving up and down, up and down, up and down. It's kind of like you're in a roller coaster ride here, and so there's all of that. And so just for a bit of context here as well, with, you know, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith Episode 3, this is actually a film I grew up watching, and so I never really watched this film on the big screen, and the last time I watched this movie was like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's like, is this going to hold up? Is this a movie that just lives on forever as an iconic film that I personally grew up with? Because, you know, back when I was younger, right, I had this Lego game, Lego Star Wars and stuff like that. So there's all of that. So first thing we're going to say about the 4DX experience is that it did surprise me, because I never really done this before, and it was like, it just feels a bit weird, like your chair's moving about and you're just like this and you're just like this and just like this. But I feel like the balance of the actual 4DX, where there'll be scenes where you have the water flying in, or you have the smoke flying in, or you feel, you know, there's actually bits where there's like a fan behind you and you can feel like cold air, and you know, it feels like you're really inside of the movie, and that's what's really good about 4DX. But there's scenes where the characters are just talking and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. You know, there's not really a lot with the 4DX experience there. It just lets you enjoy the movie, and it really is just built for that, especially because if you know the battle scenes where you've got Anakin and Kenobi, they're in the starships and then they're flying about, and then the chair vibrates and everything like that. The 4DX experience there, really did enjoy it. And as a movie, does this movie still hold up in 2025? Now, I would actually say that this movie still holds up, and I'm going to be honest with you in saying that the movie is not like a perfect masterpiece, but for its time, you know, these movies were a product of the time. You know, the prequel films, they were a product of their time, so you could feel like there's some cheesiness, there was charm to the movie, as there's a lot of over the top dialogue, you know, really cheesy lines, like, you know, the iconic line, you know, may the force be with you, or like, hello there General Kenobi, you are a bold one. There's all this kind of thing. But I just really feel like when you get to the final battle, and obviously this is a spoiler, I mean, you already know this, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie already, you know, what are you doing? This movie's been out for years now, so, you know, you get to the final battle where you have like Anakin and Kenobi fighting each other, and Kenobi gets the high ground, and then, you know, he kills Anakin Skywalker, and Anakin Skywalker turns into Darth Vader. And I just feel like the movie does benefit from a 4DX experience. It's really enjoyable, it's a fun time at the cinema. I actually paid good money to watch this movie in 4DX, and I think it was an interesting way to watch a movie, as usually, like I said, I usually go for a 2D or super screen experience, but I definitely would go back and do this experience again. So honestly, the 4DX experience, what would I rate that out of 10? So 4DX, I will say probably about a 9 out of 10, because I'm going to be honest with the 4DX experience, right, that it does feel repetitive at times, like the chairs moving about, the water's spraying, everything, it just gets repetitive. and so there's definitely that. But the movie as a whole, the Revenge of the Sith movie, I would say probably it's on the same level as 4DX in here. It's another kind of 9 out of 10 movie. It's not perfect because obviously there was still the other Star Wars movies, like the original trilogy, that is well regarded and is known to be better than Revenge of the Sith. But if you think about it, right, if it wasn't for Revenge of the Sith, you would not have the original movies, especially because it's set just before you have Anakin turning into Darth Vader. So the Revenge of the Sith is able to tell the story and be able to make it so that what happens in the episode 4 and how Darth Vader comes to be, all of that, but I still think there's just entertainment value. I mean, you could talk for days about the music, the John Williams score. There's a lot about this movie, but overall this is a different review for you, more of a sort of 4DX experience about what it's like going to the cinema, trying out 4DX and how, if all that about how does Revenge of the Sith hold up, because this was a showing I had yesterday evening as this is going out, because this will be dropping on Sunday at 12 o'clock in the morning. So definitely all of that. So may the force be with you for this video. A nice fun video for you to watch and enjoy. So yeah, see you next time for another review on the James Ramblin' Reviews. Bye. Dun, 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 dun.